When one comes from the outside, as one gradually goes through those circles, life, and hence its crimes becomes denser, darker. Here, we are in the last circle. The circle of the you know that. By heaven, you become harder to classify. But you understand then why I can say that the center of things is here, although we stand at the tip of the continent, but I am letting myself go. I am pleading a case. Forgive me. Habit, monsieur, vocation, also the desire to make you fully understand the city, and the heart of things. For we are at the heart of things here. A sensitive man grasps such oddities. In any case, the newspaper readers and the fornicators can go no further. They come from the four corners of Europe and stop facing the inner sea, on the drab strand. They listen to the foghorns, vainly try to make out the silhouettes of boats in the fog, then turn back over the canals and go home through the rain. Chilled to the bone, they come and ask in all languages for gin at the San Francisco. There I wait for them.
prijzet den Herren. Scharen je alle,
The old church in Amsterdam, their house is running along one side of the street. and behind the large ground-floor shop front windows all the whores have little rooms and plushly pillowed armchairs in which they sit up close to the glass wearing bras and panties. They look like big bored cats. On the other side of the street is a gigantic Gothic cathedral dating from the 14th century. Between the whore's world and God's world, like a river dividing two empires, stretches an intense smell of urine. Inside the old church, all that is left of the Gothic style is the high, bare, white walls, the columns, the vaulting, and the windows. There is not a single image on the walls, not a single piece of statuary anywhere. The church is as empty as a gymnasium, except in the very center, where several rows of chairs have been arranged in a large square around a miniature podium for the minister. Behind the chairs are wooden booths, stalls for wealthy burghers. The chairs and stalls seem to have been placed there without the slightest concern for the shape of the walls or position of the columns, as if wishing to express their indifference to or disdain for Gothic architecture. Centuries ago Calvinist faith turned the cathedral into a hangar, its only function being to keep the prayers of the faithful safe from rain and snow. Franz W. It was neither Protestantism nor asceticism that made him so enthusiastic. It was something else, something highly personal, something he did not dare discuss with Sabina. He thought he heard a voice telling him to seize Hercule's broom and sweep all of Marie Claude's previews, all of Marie Anne's singers, all lectures and symposia, all useless speeches and vain words, sweep them out of his life. The great empty space of Amsterdam's Old Church had appeared to him in a sudden and mysterious revelation as the image of his own liberation. Such is the formula set forth by Kafka somewhere in the diaries or letters. Franz couldn't quite remember where, but it captivated him. What does it mean to live in truth? Putting it negatively is easy enough. It means not lying, not hiding, and not dissimulating. From the time he met Sabina, however, Franz had been living in lies. He told his wife about non-existent congresses in Amsterdam and lectures in Madrid. He was afraid to walk with Sabina through the streets of Geneva. And he enjoyed the lying and hiding. It was all so new to him. He was as excited as a teacher's pet who has plucked up the courage to play truant. For Sabina, living in truth, lying neath. She assured him she was not. She was still confused and unsure whether to be happy or not. She recalled the time they met in the sleeping compartment of the Amsterdam Express, the time she had wanted to go down on her knees before him and beg him to hold her, squeeze her, never let her go. She had longed to come to the end of the dangerous road of betrayals. She had longed to call a halt to it all. It was evening and she was hurrying through the railway station. The train to Amsterdam was in. She found her coach. Guided by a friendly guard, she opened the door to her compartment and found Franz sitting on a couchette. He rose to greet her. She threw her arms around him and smothered him with kisses.
years ago. But the heart has its own memory, and I have forgotten nothing of our beautiful capital, nor of its quays. Paris is a real trompe-l'oeil, a magnificent stage setting inhabited by 4 million silhouettes. Nearly 5 million at the last census. Why, they must have multiplied. And that wouldn't surprise me. It always seemed to me that our fellow citizens had two passions, ideas and fornication. Without rhyme or reason, so to speak. Still, let us take care not to condemn them, they are not the only ones, for all Europe is in the same boat. I sometimes think of what future historians will say of us. A single sentence will suffice for modern man: he fornicated and read the papers. After that vigorous definition, the subject will be, if I may say so, exhausted. Look, it's snowing. Oh, I must go out. Amsterdam asleep in the white night, the dark jade canals under the little snow-covered bridges, the empty streets, my muted steps. There will be purity, even if fleeting, before tomorrow's mud. See the huge flakes drifting against the window panes. It must be the doves, surely. They finally make up their minds to come down, the little dears. They are covering the waters and the roofs with a thick layer of feathers, they are fluttering at every window. What an invasion! Let's hope they are bringing good news. Everyone will be saved, and not only the elect. Possessions and hardships will be shared, and you, for example, from today on you will sleep every night on the ground for me. The whole shooting match, Come now, admit that you would be flabbergasted if a